We are pleased to welcome to our study group today Swami Ishatmananda, a monk of the Ramakrishna Mission, who's been president of the Vivekananda Vedanta Society of Chicago since March of 2013. And since 2014, Swami has been the religious advisor at the University of Chicago. He was initiated by the 10th president of the order, Srimad Swami Visharananda Ji Maharaj, and received sannyasa in 1986 from Srimad Swami Gambhirananda Ji Maharaj, the 11th president of the order. Whilst in India, Swami Ishatmananda was attached for 12 years to the Advaita Ashrama in Kolkata, an English publication center of the Ramakrishna order, and worked at the well-known Educational Institute of the Ramakrishna Mission in Purulia, West Bengal. Swamiji is the founder secretary of the Ramakrishna Mission, Port Blair, Andaman Islands, where he built a home for the destitute and orphans. He constructed 2 huge buildings, Jnana Mandir and Karma Mandir, housing a national level competitive examination coaching center and a vocational center, respectively. Swami Ishatmananda was also the principal cum secretary of the Ramakrishna Mission School in Tirap, Arunachal Pradesh. More than 500 Arunachali tribal students from class 1 to class 12 reside in the ashrama under the guidance of the sannyasins. It has a 20-bed hospital and a Vishwakarma Vidyalaya where tribal girls receive vocational training. Swami has published many articles in various journals, and Advaita Ashram Kolkata has published his discourses on the Bhagavad Gita as a set of 14 DVDs. And Swami has also translated Swami Buddhananda's book, The Mind and Its Control, to Bengali. As part of his duties as leader of the Chicago Center, Swamiji gives weekly lectures on Tuesdays and Sundays, monthly classes on the Bhagavad Gita at the Naperville Public Library and at the Hindu Temple of Lake County in Grays Lake, and conducts spiritual retreats all across the United States. His talk today is Spiritual Insights from the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna. Welcome, Swamiji.
Thank you. Thank you. My dear Swami Sarvapriyananda and dear devotees, I'm very thankful that you have given me an opportunity to talk to you, and that too on a very beautiful and very interesting topic, that is spirituality in Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna. I will tell you a story that I heard from one Swami. He was the manager of the Advaita Ashram when I was there as a brahmachari. And the president, 9th president of the Ramakrishna order, Swami Madhavananda ji. Many of you know that he was an erudite scholar, and he loved to read the gospel, all the Upanishads and the Bhagavad Gita, like that. But at the end of his life, when he was the president, he used to read only the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna and no other book. This Madhavananda ji, many of you maybe remember that about him, Ma Sharadamani Devi said in Bengali, Hatir Dant Shona Diye Badhano. That means that he is the ivory decorated with the gold. So that was so costly, as if that Swamiji used to read only the gospel. The Swami whom I met, from whom I heard, he was also a very dedicated Advaitin. He never used to read anything else except the Upanishad and the Gita with Shankara Bhashya and all. So he asked that Swami Madhavananda ji, Maharaj, from you, I got the inspiration to read the scriptures. But nowadays, he used to serve him as his personal attendant. And nowadays, I don't see that you are reading any scripture. You are reading only the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna. Why? Then he replied, because our master's words elevate me to spirituality. My master's words elevate me to spirituality. The gospel, that is the unexhausting mine of spirituality, Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna. And, and then he gave a statement. He said, know it for sure, if I find any discrepancies between the Upanishad and the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna, I will accept the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna and not the Upanishad. That far, he gave that statement in that way. Of course, there will never be any discriminants because the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna and the Upanishad, those are the revelations, the words of revelations, and these are all truth. The Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna leads us to spirituality, and spirituality is the goal of every human life. But what is that gospel? Now, every one of you know, particularly the book was translated over there, and in the introduction, the Swami Nikhilananda beautifully explained, and very briefly, but very precisely, but very correctly, he mentioned what is that gospel? It is the conversation of Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna. But the conversation he mentioned, I'm quoting, have been presented with all utmost stenographic accuracy. That is important. Utmost stenographic accuracy. Then not a single word was missed. So this is the only scripture where we find everything that the Lord, the God, is said, and it was recorded. Not only that, I will come to point out that the Master Maharaj never ever tried to put his own words into that, never. And sometimes when he made the mistake, Sri Ramakrishna himself corrected that. So whatever we get in that particular book, the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna, we know that everything is truth and the truth that Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna said. Of course, it is only the record of 5 years, not even 5 years, little less than 5 years. He started recording from the February 1882, and then he concluded the Sunday, August 15, 1886, when Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna gave up his body, and that much. Again, all this conversation that happened before the householder devotees. You know, the Lord Jesus, he took some of his disciples, the apostles of Jesus, and separately on the hill, the mount, and then he gave a separate type of advices. Yet the Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna also gave some advices to his direct disciples, to the afterwards, who became the monastic disciples, like Swami Vivekananda, Brahmananda. But that is not recorded in the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna. It is only when he was speaking with the householder devotees and in the different places he was visiting. The very short time, and that too like this, and Sri Ma, the Master Mahashaya, he was the headmaster of a school. And in those days, so far I can remember, he had the masters in 2 different subjects from Calcutta University. You can imagine, in those days in India, where people, they used to say, 1 pass, that means class 10, and that was sufficient. And here, he was having the 2 masters from the university, and so intelligent, and he had a photogenic memory, this Master Mahashaya. He came almost accidentally. He was not knowing Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna. Rather, he was disgusted with the life of his family life. So he wanted to commit suicide. So he thought, what to do? I'm not at all happy in this life. So that was in his mind. But one day he went out, my wife understood, She also followed him. Then they, what to do with the wife? So he went to his friend and relative, the Siddheshwar, their house, stayed over there. Next morning, Siddheshwar said, do you like to go to a garden house nearby by the side of Ganga? It's a beautiful garden house. And I heard there's a holy man is living over there. We can go and see. That was the first time he was going, and that is the February 1882. The Master Maharshaya reached over there, and what he saw, he recorded. The Gospel of, that is the, and when he is recording, the not only he kept all the words that the Sri Ramakrishna said, but also gave a wonderful description of the people, of the place, of the time, of the weather, each and everything in so graphic way and so clearly. Those who are very serious type of reader, they can transform, they can take themselves mentally into that particular time, as we call it, Manasa Tirtha Yatra, is a mental pilgrimage. So when we are reading, then we can imagine the Sri Ramakrishna. Of course, those who have visited that particular place and the rooms of Sri Ramakrishna, they can imagine it much better. But the pictures are available. So by seeing that, we can imagine that we are going over there, sitting over there, and Sri Ramakrishna is sitting. And these are the people, all pictures are available. They are sitting over here like this. This is the weather, Ganga is flowing this way, each and everything in so details. That is the beauty, one of the very interesting thing in the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna. Moreover, those things, all those people who were present there, when this book was published, they were also there. And none of them contradicted. Rather, Ma Sharadamani Devi said, as if I was hearing from the mouth of the master, as if master was speaking, each and every word. And Swami Vivekananda certified that. These people were there. This is the gospel. And I can read from the page 77 and 78 how the description Master Mashay is giving. It's a very fast page of the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna. As he left the room with Sidhu, he heard the sweet music of the evening service arising in the temple from gong, bell, drum, cymbal. He could hear music from the Nahabat at the south end of the garden. The sounds traveled over the Ganges, floating away and losing themselves in the distance. A soft spring wind was blowing, laden with the fragrance of flowers. The moon had just appeared. It was as if nature and man together were preparing for the evening worship. The Master Maharshaya and his friend, the Sidhu, he called him like that. So they were living. This is the description. This is the way everywhere, whenever he's meeting the Sri Ramakrishna, this is the description. Mahendranath Gupta was a dispassionate person and he understood the folly of this worldly life. So this we can understand why I'm mentioning this. This is very important. A person who is completely dispassionate will never try to put himself into that because he doesn't want nothing of this world, the name, fame, nothing. So obviously, he's completely detached, only doing his work that way. The Master Mashe, he never tried to incorporate his own ideas. A dispassionate person only can understand the words of the holy person. The mind is completely detached from the world, so he can understand because his mind is concentrated, pure mind. What is purity? Pure mind, as Jesus said, the blessed are those who are pure in mind, but for they shall see God. What is the purity of mind? It's only the thought of God and not of the world. That's all. There are only two things. One is God, another is world. If we are thinking about the world which is associated with my ego, me and mine, that is impurity. If it is not there, then it is pure. So these are the two ways. Master Masha's mind was completely pure. So he could completely understand the words of Sri Ramakrishna and remember, and afterwards could note it down. The Master Masha, the first he entered with his friend, so two minds. The Siddheshwar, his friend, he took Mahendranath Gupta. Mahendranath saw Sri Ramakrishna sitting on a small couch, and immediately he felt as if, again, I will just read from the Gospel at page 77. Master Maharshi stood there speechless, looked on. It was as if he were standing where all the holy places met, and as if Shukadeva himself were speaking the word of God. That flashed in his mind. Who is Shukadeva? He was giving the hint of the Bhagavata, Srimad Bhagavata. The Shukadeva, the very pure, and he is considered as the first among all the monks. His mind was so pure, he was not having any body consciousness, and he was expounding the Bhagavata, mainly the lives of Sri Krishna, to a person, a king, who was getting ready to die after 7 days because he got the curse, Raja Parikshit, the king Parikshit. The Parikshit, he knew that he is going to die after 7 days. His mind was completely withdrawn and he was one-pointed. He wanted to listen to about God, concentrate on God, so that after the death he will go to God. So that was, and then this person who is expounding was Shukadeva, the very pure mind. Here, the moment he saw the Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna, he felt that pure soul is speaking. And he felt that he is that Parikshit, King Parikshit, ready to die and ready to receive all the holy words from Sri Ramakrishna. This is the background of the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna. The Master Mahasaya, he is mentioning that in his own way. And who is Sri Ramakrishna? All of us we know, but I liked one sentence that when he was writing one Swami, he wrote in this way: Omkara Betya Purusha Purana. This is all stotra, but the first line is Omkara Betya. Betya means you can understand, you can know, you can realize that through Omkara. What we can realize through Omkara? Brahman. Purusha, the one who is residing in every heart. And Purana, he is the eternal. So he was mentioning, indicating that Sri Ramakrishna is the Brahman in the human form. Omkara Vedya Purusha Purana. So this is Sri Ramakrishna. The spirituality was, he never acquired. It was his nature, it was his own. But friends, what is the spirituality? So this we will find that was this natural. In the Master Mahasaya, again, the small conversation the Master Mahasaya had with a maid servant over there in the very first day. I am reading from this. At the page 78. Is the holy man in? The Master Mahasaya came back, Sri Ma came back, and he found the Sri Ramakrishna inside the room. The door is azure, and the lady, she is standing before that. Then Master Mahasaya asking her, is the holy man in? Brinde, her name. Yes, he is in the room. Then the Master Mahasaya, how long has he lived here? He's inquiring about the person. He liked him and he heard, but now he wants to know about him. So that is, he is mentioning. And if you are reading, the indication always and the subtitle of the particular chapter, he is giving master and disciple. The master is Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna and disciple is Mahendranath Gupta. He is preparing himself as his disciple. So he has given the indication first. I'm going to accept, but I like to know who is this man. How long is he living here? And the Brinda is telling, oh, he has been here a long time. Master, does he read many books? This is a very interesting question. Does he read many books? Now, if you listen the answer, the Brinde, we can understand the maid servant, she used to clean that room, and she is giving the answer, unknowingly perhaps, but very true, perfect answer. And she says, books, oh dear, no. They are all on his tongue. They are all on his tongue. That means the knowledge is so nature. The Siddha, we all, what we do, we always read and then we make our own way and then we express. Sometimes I am expressing Bhagavad Gita in my own way, whatever way I have understood. So like that, so many. But Sri Ramakrishna, no book. And those who have read the biography of Sri Ramakrishna, you know, he never went to any school. But the knowledge, and what type of knowledge? Master Mahashaya, when second time he came, and Sri Ramakrishna, he took interest in that boy. And he was asking, oh, are you married? Then he said, yes. Oh, you are already married. Then Master Mahashaya, in those days, the boys used to get the engagement in the 15 years, 16 years, because the lifespan was very short. Within 50 years, they used to die. So when Sri Ramakrishna passed away, he was only 50 years. And you can imagine, and at that time, when he was 45, 46, Swami Vivekananda used to call him as an old man. Oh, the old man. And in the 46, 47, old man, nowadays he cannot call like that. So in the 46, 47, you start our life almost. So this here, the lifespan was very short and Master Mahashaya was married. And he was not knowing what is the wrong if I marry. Then Sri Ramakrishna said, oh, you are married. Then he asked, are you having your children? And this time Master Mahashaya is hesitant to answer. And he said, yes. Oh my God, he has already having the children. Then he explained, you know, I saw you in the group of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So this is Sri Ramakrishna. He could see the past, the present, and the future of the person. And if you read in the Bhakti Sutra, there it says, in the Bhakti Sutra, it says that who is God? Who can understand the past, present, and the future? So that is God, Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna. That's why again and again I am mentioning Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna. And why we are discussing in brief Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna? Of course, most of us are devotee, but those who are not, they will think that why the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna is so important. Important because it is the words of the God himself. And when he saw this young boy, the Master Mahashaya, then he told, I saw you, your past, that you were in the group of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu 600 years before Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna. So he could see him in the group of the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And he was telling, oh, I was thinking you could be of better use to spread the message of God. As because you are already married, now you have your own other responsibilities. So this is the Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna is make like this. The spirituality is the last and the topmost step of religion. What is the last? Why I am telling like this? Because if you go through the spirituality, is first we have to go through the religion. Religion is the some of the disciplines that you should follow, and then you slowly proceed. Religion means you have to practice do's and don'ts. That is all religion. So if you go to a particular religion, they will have the sort of things that you must have to practice. And that is the difference between different religions. If you go to Hinduism, they are having the different things. If you go to Christianity, if you go to other places, all different way are there. So obviously, religions are different, and you have to accept the religion, and accordingly you have to prepare. Sometimes I say that why we fight? Because we are fighting only for our school. Someone is studying if suppose a few young people, they're studying the mathematics. Someone in Japan, someone in India, someone in Great Britain, someone in America. Their teachers are different. Their colleges are different. The situations are different. Atmospheres are different. Language are different. But when they become graduate in that particular subject, all they are master, all they can become the teacher of mathematics. And that is spirituality. So religion is the beginning. When you enter into religion, and we have to accept the do's and don'ts, and we have to sincerely follow that. Second comes mythology. And when we are entering into religion, we are going towards God. We accept God. We believe in God. We think that oh, there must be someone who is having this quality. So we start in life that way. Then we read and listen different stories mixed with the history and also sometimes imaginary, and they go on boosting your mind that oh, he also did like that and he realized God, this happened, that happened. The mythology encourages us to follow the path of religion. Then comes the morality, the third stage. The first is religion. We enter into school, then we get the encouragement to the mythology. Then the third is morality. You should not do this, you should not do that. And this is the way it goes on. And this morality ultimately makes us completely different. Religious people are naturally they accept that they won't hurt others, they won't tell lies, they won't do anything wrong. So they are religious people. So that is the morality. And in every religion, if you find it is nothing but morality. The 10 Commandments is nothing but the morality. It's all the morality that prepares the mind. And sometimes we doubt, why should we practice like this? Why should we do this? Then comes philosophy. They explain why I should be moral. Swami Vivekananda is also telling what is the basis of morality. So that is the basis they always explain. That is the philosophy. They'll be explaining you. So the first is religion, then is the mythology, third come the morality, then the philosophy, and finally it is spirituality, that you have graduated into that, and you now not only think, you also behave. That's why the Aravinda Ghosh said, Hinduism is not a religion. It is a just leaving into that. So leaving into that means this is the spirituality. So ultimately you are reaching over there, and this is called spirituality. We are discussing about the spirituality that is in our Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna. And Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna, the spirituality, what is the spirituality ultimately? It is the realization of the oneness. We see so many things, but it should be the one only. Now, if we go to the Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna himself mentioned in the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna, and his biographers also are mentioning that when he was completing his spirit, the tapasya, his practices, austerity, at the almost in the end, it was unbearable for him to get separation from the God. So you know that one day he wanted to cut his head and offer it at the feet of the goddess Kali. So then, that very moment, he was worshipping the goddess Kali, completely duality. That goddess was there, he was separate, he was praying to the goddess. And when he said, Mother, he used to call the goddess Mother, you must reveal thyself before me this moment, or I am going to kill myself. It is unbearable pain that is within me. I cannot bear this separation. That very moment, what he realized, Mother Kali? No. This is the speciality. He saw the waves of light that he himself is explaining, and Master Masha recorded. I saw the waves of light coming out from the temple, engulfed the temple, engulfed everything all around, and including me. And I became merged into that. Everything is nothing but the consciousness, waves of consciousness. So that is the experience of Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna. So this is called the spirituality. Master Moshe, he was having little argument with Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna and Sri Ramakrishna because he was the Amy. So obviously little ego about his knowledge was there. Oh, Sri Ramakrishna, well, he is from the village background and not having the education, proper education. I'm an educated man, obviously. So that little thing was working in his mind. And when he was talking, Sri Ramakrishna told him what is knowledge and what is ignorance. He first time heard from Sri Ramakrishna, to know God is knowledge, to know one is knowledge, and to many is ignorance. It goes with the Upanishad. In the Upanishad we read, and the one person is asking the question, Kashminnu bhagavo vigyate sarvamidam vigyatam bhavatiti. The one householder, a successful householder, a satisfied man, he is asking, what is the basis? When we start the journey, when I am successful, when I am satisfied, then only. Nothing has happened, I can't do anything, I begin the spiritual journey. No, that won't be. The one young boy, he comes and he says, I failed everywhere, so I am trying to realize God. And good, try here also, but prepare for the other things to get some money. So he regularly comes. So this is the way it is going on, that I am successful. He came and he was asking the Kashminnu Bhagavo Vigyate Sarvamidam Vigyatam. By knowing what, I can understand everything. I cannot go and analyze each and everything. Tell me one understanding what that I can understand everything. And then the answer was, there are two types of knowledges. Paracha eva aparacha. And what is that highest knowledge? By knowing which you know everything. That means the one which has become everything, as if. So that again, the philosophy, the dualist philosophy say, again the God has become everything. And Advaitins say, no, you feel that it has become, actually it is not. So this is separate. The Sri Ramakrishna realized that oneness, that spirituality, and he said it everywhere. In his everyday life, it was there. In the gospel, again, we find that he was traveling, and the Sri Ma, Master Masha, was also there in that carriage. And when they were going, suddenly there is a place in Calcutta, the people usually they avoid. That is the wrong place, they say. The, the carriage was passing through that. The devotees wanted to close the window because the Sri Ramakrishna should not see the people around there, because they were not, that was not a good place. But Sri Ramakrishna, he opened the window, and jutting out from the car, carriage, he was looking at those ladies, and he was saying, oh, mother, you like to dress like these and you're standing here? He was so happy seeing those prostitutes. He never saw the prostitutes. He saw the mother in them. This is called spirituality. Not that he didn't see. He saw the differences. He saw the people, but he saw only that divine presence in everything. This is called spirituality. Sometimes we feel that a spiritual man, religious man, doesn't see anything but God everywhere. And sometimes some people, they imagine. And what they do, the people who are imagining, they always try to that superimpose on themselves the talking with God. Oh, they'll be looking at the sky and talking with God and doing this and doing that. And many people think, oh my God, look at him. He's a highly spiritual man, constantly looking at the sky and talking with God. Does God live only in the sky? There's so many satellites are there all over, hundreds of thousands of satellites, but they are not reporting any God from there, and we don't see anything. So where is God? God is completely transformation of our thought, and that is called realization. Religion is realization, as Swami Vivekananda said. Religion is realization, and what is that realization? Realization of the oneness. What happens when we see that oneness? That is Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna is telling. Seeing the oneness of the ordinary people, they survive only for 21 days because there you don't see any separation. That happened to the young Narendra. That Narendra was 17, 18 years old. One day he was visiting Sri Ramakrishna in the Dakshineshwar, and Sri Ramakrishna said to him, and because Narendra was of that capacity, though that moment he was not aware, as a young age, Sri Ramakrishna told, do you know, one day I saw this goddess Kali, whom I am worshipping, and all the utensils that I use for the worship, and that cat over there, and this building, and that lady standing over there, the maid servant, each and everything is nothing but God. The young boy, somehow, he was about to laugh hearing that, and he came and he was sitting with his friend. Friend means by age he was very old, but still he was sitting with him, and he was, do you know that Sri Ramakrishna was telling, even the utensils are gods. In Bengali, he said, Ghotita, Batita, O Bhagavan, that utensils are also God. And they were laughing. Sri Ramakrishna came out from his room, and it was adjacent. So he came and he touched that young boy. He was not thinking about the other, because the Narendra should not have any wrong conception. He will be the afterwards the flag bearer. So he touched him. And what happened? It is recorded in the biography of Swami Vivekananda. 3 days and 3 nights, he was seeing everything. Even the rice he was about to eat. And when he was crossing the horse carriage that was coming towards him, he was looking at the horses, the carriage, all the people around. He himself was nothing but the same. He went and he was hitting his head with the iron. There was a park, though we have visited that park. He was going and knocking his head over there. Is it true everything is like this, all conscious? That is the experience. Then what happened for the ordinary people? When they get that, they forget about their body and they die in 21 days. Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna is telling, after realization of the Brahman in that way, as because they forget about themselves. They don't eat, they don't drink, and they dry like a dry leaf. Their body falls in 21 days. He mentioned in that. But for him, he was supposed to be there to teach the righteousness. That's why Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna. So we find that each and every time it is everywhere. And then the same Sri Ramakrishna, he saw when Ma Sharadamani Devi asked him, how you look at me? Who am I? Then what was his answer? He said, the goddess Kali in the temple, and my mother who gave birth to this body, and you are the same. How it is? Because that realization, each and everything is nothing but the same spirituality, the same consciousness, and this is called spirituality. And how to practice it, that is also there in the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna. And the first few chapters are very important. Afterwards, mostly repetitions and teaching in a different way. But after you will find in the second chapter, in the company of the devotees, and he is giving the how to prepare your mind. He said, then one person came, I will read from here, the 79. One person came to live with Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna. What is religion? This is very important. Sri Ramakrishna is mentioning Pratap's brother came here. Pratap is someone, his brother. He stayed a few days. He had nothing to do and said he wanted to live here. I came to know that he had left his wife and children with his father-in-law. He has a whole brood of them. So I took him to task. Just fancy, he is the father of so many children. Will people from the neighborhood feed them and bring them up? Swadharma. The whatever the responsibility that you have accepted, that is your dharma. As the Arjuna was teaching, the Krishna was teaching the Arjuna that you are a Kshatriya and fight for the just cause is your dharma, is your religion. You must do that. If you don't do that, that will be seen. So this is what we should do. Sometimes people ask. Master Moshe himself wanted to renounce the hearth and home and become a sannyasi. Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna said, you are a teacher, and through teaching, you should purify your mind and also inspire the young minds, the students, to follow the path of righteousness. That should be your mission. You are not an ordinary teacher. Now you are a missionary. Girish Chandra Ghosh, he was an actor. Girish Chandra Ghosh wanted to renounce the hearth and home. And Sri Ramakrishna said, no, through drama, you can teach the society what is righteousness. So whatever you are doing, whatever you are good at, you must follow that. That is called Swadharma. And that is the teaching of Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna. And that is the religion. And what is dharma? Sri Ramakrishna not only saying, but also practicing. And we think so many ways. Dharma means you have to bathe in the pure water, and you have to put the washed clothes, and you have to go to the temple every Friday. And the Hindus, they have different ways they think. And the Christians, they will go on the Sunday, they will go to church. The mosque, they are going on Friday, the Muslims. But what is dharma? What is religion? Sri Ramakrishna is telling, keeping your promises is dharma. Keeping your promises. When he was married, they were poor Brahmins, so they were not having any gold jewelries. But at the time of marriage, the girl should have some gold jewelries. So the mother of Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna borrowed some jewelries from the neighbor, and he was mother, Ma Sharadamani Devi was having those. She was only 6 years old, and she was very happy having those things. But in the next morning, she saw nothing is there because you have to return it back. So when she was sleeping, they took it out and gave it back to the neighbor. And the young girl, she was crying, where are my jewelries? You give me back. Somebody has taken it. Then the mother-in-law said, my son will make the nice gold jewelry for you. Mother promised. And Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna, who could never touch the money, and he took the job, 8 rupee salary in the Dakshinesha in Calcutta, and every month he never touched that. He had another person to look after him and his nephew. He said, keep that money and tell me when you have accumulated sufficient money to purchase the bangles for my wife, then I will stop doing this. So this is the way he kept the promise of his mother, just like Ramachandra kept the promise of his father, Dasharatha. And in Hindi, it always say the father promised. And then afterwards, he was telling his own son, you please arrest me and become the king. And he gave the wonderful teaching, Raghukula Riti Sadachali Ai, Prana Yau Baru Bachan Najai. This is the tradition of the great Raghukula, that even if we die, we'll never break our promises. So what is dharma? Keeping the promise. Whatever the other day on the 20th, when observing Biden was becoming the president of America, he was keeping his left hand on the Constitution of America, and he was keeping the promise. I am going to keep whatever is written over here, everything, all. So that is the promises. And unless and until you are keeping the promise, you are not a person, human being. So what is dharma? Keeping the promise. When we become the monks, we also take the oath. What is difference? You're also eating, sleeping, talking, moving. What is the difference? Promises. When we took the promise that we will become like this, we should not break that. What is the promise of a sannyasi? As Swami Vivekananda said, from me no danger be to all that live. Ahimsa. So this is the way. At the time of marriages, you are also taking the oath. Ma Sharadamani Devi asked Sister Nivedita, Margaret Noble, and also the Sister Christian to act how the Christians they marry. And when they were telling, till death we will be together, etc., etc., mother was so happy. Look at these are the promises, keeping the promise. Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna, he mentioned in this way, he promised someone that he will visit his house, a very close neighbor, next door. And he forgot. Neighbor also didn't remind. In the late night, he got up and he reminded, oh my God, I promised. He went in that dark night with a lantern in his hand. That time all they were sleeping. He kept his feet on that and said, hey, I kept my word. I came here. So that is called keeping the promise. So have faith in the existence of God. Shamshaya Rakshasha Nasha, as Swami Vivekananda said. Sri Ramakrishna, in the gospel we find again and again, I promise, I swear, God is there. And that is in the beginning. In the 82 page of the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna, you will find Sri Ramakrishna is mentioning like this. He is asking a question, the Master Moshe, is it possible to see God? And Sri Ramakrishna's answer, yes. Not only yes, certainly, he's mentioning. Yes, certainly. Then only few words he is adding. Living in solitude now and then, repeating God's name and singing his glories, discriminating between the real and the unreal, these are the means to employ to see him. That you have to born over there, you have to study Sanskrit or Hebrew or Arabic, nothing like that. Nothing and nothing. Only thing that first, yes, that means you have to have the faith in the words of your master, Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna, when he says yes, and to emphasize, he is telling certainly. And even there is a doubt, then well, doubting Thomas. So like this will be very difficult for them to proceed. Then living in solitude now and then. Why? To analyze your mind. Unless and until we understand ourselves, what we want, Sri Ramakrishna, and this is the way one goes. The Sri Ramakrishna is telling the sincerity is necessary. That if you become sincere in practicing, everything is possible. So the holy company, living in solitude, discrimination, and the prayer. These are the 4 steps, Sri Ramakrishna said. Then ultimately what will happen? The complete transformation. The complete transformation of your thought. Your mind will never ever think any negative way. You cannot criticize others because you see the same God in everything. And you won't feel jealous also. Oh, jealousy for what? Some people are becoming great. Now, the one gentleman has become the president of America. Shall I be jealous? No. Why? Because I don't want to become. So that way, if you withdraw your mind from everything, you don't want anything. So that is the only way. The God is there. God can be realized. And for realize God, the first thing is necessary. There's the faith in the words of the Guru and the scripture, and sincerity too. go towards. And what are the things that we practice? Go now and then into solitude, all alone. And of course, without your smartphone. Because if you carry the phone, you carry the whole world. So without that, and let people go on searching where that person has gone, and all alone, and analyze. And how to analyze? Of course, these are my words, and I say always like this. Then whatever the thoughts are crossing the mind, we should note it down. Today morning, this type of thoughts came. Then afternoon, this. Then this. Then this. So like that, if you keep next day, next day, next day, you will find those thoughts are slowly, slowly becoming weak. They are not coming. And whatever we are thinking, that positive way, if we go on and slowly, slowly, and different type of things come, and the best way is to go on taking the name of God. Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna again and again is telling, taking the name of God and sincerely, and also his glories, singing his glories. Nam Gunagan, in Bengal it says, Nam means the name of God, or not only name of God, the Gunagan, the qualities of God, truthfulness, that the Sri Ramachandra, and the love that the Jesus showed. So that is the gunas, the qualities. If you only take the name of Jesus, Jesus, and not the qualities, nothing is going to happen. Then ultimately what? Suppose I become highly spiritual and I see the same spirituality and the same consciousness in everything. Then what happens to me? What is the result? It says you become purely unselfish and you become full love of completely transformation into love. And that is the reason Swami Vivekananda said, unselfishness is God. He is giving the definition, unselfishness is God. There is no selfishness, only love and love and love. And in the gospel, you will find Sri Ramakrishna going to different people. Sometimes they are not inviting. Even then, he is going to inspire them, to guide them, so that they become follow the path of righteousness. And the human birth, many times, as Shankara also mentioned, human life is very precious and time is short. We do not know what will happen, when it is going to happen. A young man, very strong person, he ran 5 miles, and after jogging, then after that he came back, he was just trying to unlace his shoe and he passed away, the heart attack. So we do not know. He was completely the healthy person, but suddenly he passed away, he died. So this happened. We do not know when the date is going to come. And I am not having any little time to prepare for that. So what is that preparation? Going on taking the name of God. That is what Sri Ramakrishna said, Ma Sharada also. Thank you, friends. So each and every page of the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna is inspiring us to become spiritual. And spirituality is nothing but unselfishness and love. Jai Thakur, Jai Ma. So I invite you, when the slowly, the pandemic, the situation is changing for the better way. So maybe the end of this year, everything will be all right. Please visit Chicago, please visit us. And we are having a new place in the Chicago city, and we are planning to inaugurate that maybe in sometime in September. My plan is 11 September if everything goes well. And then we will have that. We will invite you all. Please come. So let us say, Jai Thakur, Jai Ma, Jai Shamiji. Jai Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna Dev ki Jai. Jai Mahamai ki Jai. Jai Shamiji Maharaj ji ki Jai. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti.